Did you know your skin is home to trillions of bacteria? And most of them are trying to be helpful. Welcome back to Science Genies, where we turn complex science into stories that you can use in your everyday life. Today, we're going to be talking about the skin microbiome. And yes, your skin has an invisible ecosystem. I'm joined by Dr. Kristin Neumann, a microbiologist who's the co-founder of a platform that is trying to raise awareness about how your daily habits impact these microbes living on us. In this episode, we're going to talk about everything from how hot your shower is to how your gut can impact acne and eczema. So let's get started by jumping right in.
Hi, thank you for having me today. I'm really happy to join your mission on educating on our health and what is important for our health, and the microbiome definitely is a big part of it. And yeah, I'm Kristin Neumann. I'm a microbiologist by learning, and I was actually working for a long time in the field of development of antimicrobials. And by developing these antimicrobials, which are working selectively, I kind of touched base with the microbiome topic, because using antimicrobials that are not only killing the pathogenic microbe but leaving the rest alone, we could see directly in wounds, for example, treating wounds, that they are worked instantly healing after lasting for months or even years. And that was kind of the lightning moment when me and my partner Tanya, we decided to create this platform which would inform the broad public about the microbiome and how important it is, and to be able to make informed decisions about everything in life we do, and to consider that there's a microbiome on our bodies and that we have to take care of it.
So, what
And
made you want to become a microbiologist in the first place?
yeah, good question. Yeah, I was always actually curious, and my biology teacher at school is also a little bit, his fault as well. But I was always interested in learning how our body works. I found it so fascinating how this all, like, it's so complex and it's so interesting. And then I went to study biology and to learn how everything works in its little tiny pieces. And then yeah, the science and the interest drove me to the microbiology topic, because I was really interested in this action antibiotic area, to really understand actually from the pathogenic side how these make us sick. And I didn't learn about anything about the microbiome when I was at the university, so which is like 20 years ago now. But it's shifting, and now the microbiome topic is way bigger than the microbes being bad or pathogenic and making us sick. And it's very exciting to be part of this movement.
So, you said pathogenic making us sick. Could you just quickly explain what it means? Like, what's the difference between a pathogen and a microbe?
Yeah, so both are microbes. So it's not so clearly to distinguish between pathogens and non-harmful or good bacteria or microbes after all. So microbes are always bacteria, fungi, but also like viruses. They're not alive, but they also belong to the microbiome, and also eukaryotes, like cells that have a cell core. And actually, it's only 1% of all microbes that are really pathogenic, that make us sick. But so some are really just in the wrong place and overgrowing the existing microbiota on our body. So that is what is making us sick. But in some way, they're always present in our bodies. Just our microbiome is just usually taking them, or holding them in its place, or taking care or controlling them. And every time we see something gets out of order, like we get sick, then our microbiome is out of balance. That's the thing that happens. And sometimes, just for example, Staph aureus, we have it like on our skin, but just in very tiny amounts and very much in the nose. So we're always in danger that we can, for example, get eczema. But it only happens when our body has some issues, and the bacteria are then able to thrive in an environment where it normally shouldn't thrive. And then the problems are starting.
So, was there a particular reason why you decided to focus on the skin microbiome? Because most people will probably say that they've heard of the gut microbiome these days, but never really the skin microbiome.
Yeah, it intentionally wasn't the focus, or we didn't start with focusing on the skin microbiome, but like when we had this website, and then we went to conferences like all around the microbiome just to get like the network and the newest science. And then we actually saw that there's a lot of cosmetic companies out there that are already working very strongly with the topic microbiome and making claims in every direction. And this made us come to the idea that there's a gap that we need to close by developing a test. And in the end, we developed a certification for cosmetic products that are microbiome friendly, that would not harm our existing healthy skin microbiome. And that's why our focus with that shifted to skin, yeah, because we did a lot of work with that. But we're still interested in the whole microbiome and on our body, but also in the nature, but it's like it's everywhere. And we try to like cover every topic, not only the skin, in our information platform.
So, for me, I know that the skin is our largest organ, and this is something that we're unaware of in our everyday lives. So, how am I impacting my skin microbiome every day in my everyday activities by what I wear, when I wash my face in the morning, showering?
Yeah. So it's actually, yeah, it's like you can influence it by everything because their skin is your outer layer and it is in touch with everything that is around you, also your environment, the area you live in. If you have like very healthy fresh air around you or polluted air in a big city, for example, that is also influencing your microbiome. Sun is influencing your microbiome. Everything that you put on your skin or bring into contact with your skin, your clothes, your cosmetics, showering, for example, and specifically washing is the strongest impact you can see on the skin microbes because they are supposed, like washes are supposed to remove the bacteria from your skin. And also showering, like when using hot showers, it is also washing away the sebum on your skin. And the sebum on your skin is actually something you need and your microbes need as
Sorry, could
food.
you
They use it
repeat
as
that
food.
last part? The C, what is that?
Sebum. The sebum is the lipid acids that are developed in your skin and which keeps your skin moist, and it's like an oil thing here. It makes your like if you produce too much
Mhm.
sebum, then you will get inflammation and pimples. It feeds actually C. acnes, which is one of the microbes that are most abundant on our skin, and we need that a lot. But if we have acne, then the sebum is increasing the sebum production, and C. acnes has more food. And then something inside the within the strains is also shifting, so that they become bad. Like there's a higher population of bad C. acnes versus healthy C. acnes. But it's another story. But so the sebum is the one that is like you have on your oily skin areas the most, like the forefront or like the cheeks and the back or the chest. And it's the oiliness that you note on your oily skin areas.
And some people have oilier skin, some people have drier skin. Why is that?
That's genetically. So you're just prone to produce more sebum or less sebum. And yeah, in some way, like the industry is also trying to deal with it. But the root cause of acne is, of course, lying in our bodies. It's underlying hormone shifts, and the bacteria then also add to the problem if we have a problem. But the source is coming from inside.
So that means that my diet would also be impacting my skin microbiome.
Yeah, strongly. Yeah, I didn't mention that yet. Yeah.
What what parts of the diet, what foods would be more inflammatory to impacting the sebum area? If I'm genetically predisposed to this, what foods can I be like, okay, I shouldn't eat that because that's going to cause me to be more likely to have acne right now?
Yeah, I cannot speak specifically on sebum, but in general, everything I eat that is healthy for my gut is also good for the skin, because the first goal is that with my diet, I don't want to have an interrupted gut lining. And if I have that, then I will also see that, or that will also reflect on the skin, because then the microbes can also, metabolites of the microbes can enter the bloodstream through that leaky gut and then show on the skin. But in general, for a diet, it's of course no processed food, keep sugars low, animal derived proteins, keep them low. I would never say don't it at all, but like keep the balance between everything. And of course, the most important is that we eat a lot of fiber every day, if it's fruits or vegetables. And then it can also be that the case that you don't like, your digestion doesn't like certain uh, fruits or vegetables. So you need to find out which ones are good for you and which ones not. But usually your body's telling you what you like is also good for
Mhm.
your body. But the ultra processed food from the food industry is the biggest problem, I think.
How would fiber impact my skin microbiome, though?
The fiber is feeding the good microbes in the gut, and thereby these are taking care of your gut lining. They are releasing certain metabolites that help to have a healthy like gut, and then this will also reflect on the skin and lead to less inflammation, whereas you eat a lot of animal derived protein and meat. Like, it's fine to eat meat and all that, but only in low amounts, and because that is something that is shown to trigger inflammation in the gut, and then that will also reflect again on the skin.
So, another topic of discussion is probiotics and skincare. I've seen some skincare products that advertise probiotics nowadays. How do these products have a greater impact on my skin microbiome than me digesting a probiotic?
Well, it depends. So at first, it starts with products that are containing probiotics versus those that claim to have probiotics, but which aren't really probiotics. So there maybe are 5 companies in the world that have real life probiotics in their products. Everything else is usually fermented or lyophilized, inactivated bacteria, which are not alive anymore, but they can also have an effect. The issue here is that with the probiotics or pre or postbiotics, the mechanism of action on the microbiome is not yet known. But there are some studies that some certain very specific probiotics or strains have a certain effect on the skin barrier, on inflammation and epithelialization. But the action via the microbiome is not yet known. And usually, like the products or in the probiotics you find in skincare products are lactobacilli, and lactobacillus is one of the, like, it's actually not on this, like, it's only in little amounts on the skin. So it's like the question if it really helps to change the microbiome for the better. So I would be really critical with those products. And with every product that claims something around, like, even every claim, but specifically for the microbiome, I would try to find the data that are behind that, like showing or proving that there is some action. And if you find the good data, then it's good. It's worth the money. But if you don't find anything and there's just randomly added some probiotics or prebiotics, like inulin, for example. Inulin is a prebiotic and is very often used in skincare product, but it's actually derived from the gut.
Mm.
So we know it's good for the gut bacteria, but the gut is a completely different environment than the skin. And things that are, or prebiotics that are helpful in the gut, are helping completely other bacteria than on the skin. It actually doesn't make sense to use it on skin.
So, in the case of someone who's suffering from eczema or severe acne, what in your research have you found about what those people can do to change their skin microbiome?
Well, it's tricky. For acne, it's really difficult because there's not yet many products out there that are really tackling the issue, like the underlying cause. Of course, the underlying cause is our hormones and our body physiology and our like. I would try to start with the diet in both cases and not overuse products, not overwash as well. Like, of course, you can treat spots like single spots, but I would not like disinfect my whole skin if I have acne every day because that is making things even worse. So, but if you have like single spots, then you can treat them with like the typical acne treatments, for example, and that might help. But if you have really severe acne, there's no solution for that. There are some products that are really pioneering that kind of like with probiotics of acne strains that replace the bad guys of the good guys. So this is something that it's a company Biostove just acquired like a year ago. So I hope there's products for that coming to the market soon. So that is a nice solution. And everything else for eczema, for example, I would try to only use like moisturize and use very mild product. Don't wash with harsh. Yeah, we need to leave our microbiome alone. But the problem is that it is coming from inside, and it's not easy to change it from outside, rather within. And of course, yeah, it's a diet and the lifestyle, stress, sleep.
So you just mentioned stress. So would an increase of our stress levels that's also seen to impact stuff like eczema and acne? I think most people have heard about getting a stress pimple on their on their
Yeah.
face or of that sort. But so for me, I'm thinking I my younger sister is someone who actually has suffered with eczema since she was a baby and as well as acne. However, I didn't have acne when I was younger. I didn't suffer from any of these skin diseases. So, could we explain to the audience how one person in the family can get severe acne or skin condition and the other, even though they have the same genes?
Yeah, the thing is, you don't have the same genes. It's like that. I have the same in my family. I'm the lucky one of three sisters without eczema. And my both sisters, they have eczema, and my mother too. My father doesn't. So I received the good genes on that, and the others weren't so lucky. So it's genetically.
Yeah. I love the fact that you said that because a lot of there's this myth that if we come from the same family and sometimes one person gets a disease and the other person doesn't get a disease. But the truth is, it's like our body is this map and some genes are expressed, other genes are not expressed, and it's the luck of the draw at that point. It really is
Yeah,
difficult because a lot of people still grow up feeling a little bit insecure, especially when it comes to the skin because it's external, so everyone could see what's going on. And we're still trying to figure out, as you just said, how stuff like acne, severe acne, we can change that. Because to me, if I'm thinking, okay, you just said it's a hormonal issue. If I were to get my hormones in balance, we're able to go to the doctor and possibly let's take a medicine. Why is it that we're still suffering from these like the cystic acne then? Like I'm not an expert in
mm,
this field, so I don't know the different types of acne, but why is it if it's a hormone imbalance? Why isn't it?
yeah, because it's not only that. It's like there's many factors
Mhm.
factoring in, but hormones is one of them. What, from a microbiome perspective, for example, one can explain that like sebum production only starts when we get into puberty. And then, but not for everyone. It's different for every person. Like I have my little daughter, she's 7. She had a lot of pimples on her nose. She shouldn't have because she's not yet in her puberty, but she has it from
Mhm.
her father. He had the same thing. But like usually you get your sebum production in puberty, and that is hormone related, and that's why the C. acnes strains are growing. And this is kind of a peak um, moment where like there's sometimes an overproduction of sebum, and then you get the acne. And then the same goes for our menstrual cycle. Like every once in a month, I get a pimple here and there because and I know, okay, it's the time again. And then post menopause, we again have a hormonal shift. So it's all related, but it's not the only root cause for that. There's like all the environmental factors, lifestyle, diet. I mean, it's not easy to understand like every single mechanism and then put it all together and have the solution. And it's very individual as well. So we cannot have one medicine for everyone. It's really should be personalized analysis and then ideally go from hormones to lifestyle and maybe treat it topically as well, and then also include the gut microbiome and then put it all together. But developments are undergoing in this direction, but we're not there yet, unfortunately.
Okay, well, this is where we're going to pause this episode. Today, one of the most fascinating things that I learned about was sebum. I actually had no knowledge in this area, even though now I'm seeing a lot of advertisement on skin products that say sebum, which is the natural oil on our skin. And we learned that this sebum evolves over time from when we are a baby to when we are in our more elderly stage of life, which is quite interesting to me. Another thing is, it's like, remember when we were talking about the body and feeding our body, and the nutrients we feed our body is what fuels our system, our city that we have internally. This fuel is also used externally for our skin. So what you eat also impacts your skin microbiome, which is an amazing thing to know about, because you can eat things that cause more inflammation, which can lead to more acne. So let me know what you found interesting and leave a comment, and come back next week to learn a bit more about a different area of the skin microbiome. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with your family, friends, lovers, enemies, coworkers, whomever, and stay curious. Until next time.